Hello and welcome.
Salutations.
Hola, senores.
What's up, guys? I think we're live. Let's wait for this YouTube to them YouTubes.
I'm seeing it live.
Yes, I think I scared everybody in here. To be honest with you.
Not on the YouTube, so.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I think I scared everybody, and that's what I'm here to do. So, welcome everybody to the 10th episode. It's been 10 episodes now, okay? And this is only getting bigger because we're having some big guests on coming up forward, okay? But I'm focused on tonight. We have a good guest tonight. I'm excited. You guys know who I am. I'm Noah from Noah's Ark of Crypto. And yeah, that's who I am. I'm not drinking right now, guys. I'm still on the diet, still going strong, working out hard, trying to look sexy. I'll never get there probably. But we do have two important people with us tonight. First off, as usual, you guys have seen him before. We got Bishop. What's up, bro?
How's it going, buddy?
How's it going?
It's going. Sitting here about to talk some blockchain.
Yeah, blockchain without cryptos. Just kidding.
You gotta have both, right? It's dependent.
Correct. Are you drinking tonight?
I can be.
It's up to you. I mean, I know you're pressured.
But you got to dine me first, and then we'll see how the night goes. A little chicken.
Okay.
Little chicken.
How about this?
You know?
How about you smoke some crack to get warmed up and then decide?
I'll tell you what, my employer loves that. But
Awesome. I'm joking.
I guess I'll pass the torch over to my my buddy over here, Brad.
Oh, hello. I'm honored to be here on Noah's Ark podcast. What's up, guys?
Brad's the man. Brad is one of the analysts from the Crypto Fam. All their info is on Twitter. Is in the description. He's a very talented technical analyst, and they're a group that I'm pretty close to. So I thought it'd be fitting to have Brad on, talk the markets and everything. And Brad, we are super excited to have you here, brother. Are you drinking? Are you getting drunk?
Got the gin and tonic right here on deck, boys. So
one of my favorites with a lime. A man after my
also got the Boston.
With the all right, that's hands down the best background we've had on this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I did this myself actually. Painted that with a string and a paint can. So
nice.
Yeah, we get trippy over here. So
wait. You painted that with a string and a paint can.
Okay, well, no, there was paint involved, but what I did was wrapped a string around a can, and so then you unwound it in a circle, and it got longer and longer, and it drew the lines, and then I just spray painted inside of them. So
all right, so you are. Go ahead.
Little geometry in there. That means each one of those strips should be about the size of a paint can or a pop can, right?
Yeah, it was. I said paint can, but it was a soup can. But yeah.
So
exactly.
It's as thick as uniform as a Campbell soup can, and everyone's happy to hear that it's as thick as a Campbell soup can.
Look at that detail right there, guys. I mean, look at that.
It's legit.
Yeah. Dude, so you did, all right, can you confirm or deny for me whether or not you have a Pinterest account and whether that's where you got it from?
Dude, I will absolutely deny that that's where I got it from. And I don't, to my knowledge, I don't think that exists on there. But I could probably write that up and it would get a lot of attention. So
you could have like Pinterest for stoners. You should make that on the blockchain.
For crypto stoners on the blockchain.
Yeah.
Centralized exchange, of course. Let's go.
All right. So, dude, it's good to have you here. Yeah, well, guys, we'll be like an hour and 15 minutes tonight. Nothing crazy. And we're just going to go over the markets, talk shit to each other, and talk about coins and stuff like that. So, starting off, I mean, if we're going to look here, I need day mode. There we go. All right. So, the market cap right now is $292 billion. I think we got over the 300 billion mark just for a second. But, yeah, it's trying. Yeah, we barely got over 300. It's trying right now. Bitcoin, guys, is at 8164. I'm going to run through the Bitcoin chart really quick so everybody can look at it. Let me share my screen. Share. All right, you guys can see that. Neato, gang. So this big blue line here is the August 16th prospective decision date. for the ETF. Is it going to get pushed back, delayed? I don't know. I lean towards probably. But here's the thing. Here's what we're looking at with Bitcoin. So it's been a really, really positive move. Nobody can deny that. It's been great. But we're sandwiched, and I like moving averages a lot, and it's not the only way that I trade. But we're sandwiched right below the 200 moving average on the daily, right above the 20 EMA, right? But then if we zoom closer, this is the 618 fib from the drop from when we just missed 10K down to like 5,800. If you fib that from the top of that to the bottom of like 5,750 or whatever, we're right below the 618 of that. All right, and that's typically going to be key resistance. Like the 236 will be key resistance. We went over this last week and we finally got over it. And it was big that we got over it. But then moving up, like, okay, the 0.5 and the 0.618, those take their turns being pretty significant resistances. This daily candle close right here was definitely a bullish hammer reversal candle, right? But I don't want to say I fear, but I almost I wouldn't be surprised if we go sideways with an indecisive market into this decision date of the 16th. And then whatever happens on that day, if it's approved, we go boom, boom. If it's not approved, or if it gets delayed, if it gets denied or delayed, that we go down and retest some key levels. In the meantime, I think we've tested this 7,800-ish level twice now. If we test it again, we could come down to 7,400-ish. It's a 382 fib. There's also some 7,600 levels in there as well, depending on what you're looking at. But really what we want to do here, guys, is going sideways is fine. But I want to hold the 20 EMA on the daily, because when that props price up, good things happen. So that's cool.
Noah, I was looking at the same thing as you there. In the context of the downtrend, I measured from the swing high at 10,000 and to the swing low at 5,700, and that 0.618 seems to be pretty significant right now. So what do you think? I think we can pretty much guarantee we're going to test that again, and it's going to require some decent volume to break it. So
yeah. If you look at the 200 moving average, like in the fact that that's confluence with the 618, and the 618 guys is at 83.77, and this is according to BitMEX on their perpetual swap platform. So you're getting a flattening 200 moving average, right? And that tells you that the downtrend, the macro downtrend, is slowing, and that we're basically trendless. And you're going to get the 20 EMA kind of starting to flatten out here, and that's going to signal some volatility isn't coming. The more times that we test this 83.77, the better, right? But we're gonna need to get over it. I mean, and that's the big thing. And if we do, we're looking at 9,100 to the 786. Like there's some 991 to 9,200 resistances up there. But yeah, this is the more we test it, I think the better, because we're gonna bite into that liquidity pool each time, and then there will be less sellers at that level. But we need to break it with volume.
So let's talk about altcoins.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, what's going on with them? Bitcoin made its big move, and altcoins have just been doing nothing. So
boring.
We're waiting on. Yeah, so boring is one way to say it. Yeah, what it shows is, if you look at the technicals, you got on the alt USD pairs, you've got a lot of consolidation, bottom forming, because they've gone down in BTC, but because Bitcoin had such a nice charge, they've been like flat in USD. So you're looking at like a lot of Bollinger Bands tightening, things like that. I tweeted out a Ethereum chart from the Crypto Fam yesterday, and yeah, definitely like there's been zero volatility in altcoins if you look at USD pairs like the last month, which is kind of, it's prepping for a big move up or big move down, but we need that signal. I actually got the man John Bollinger himself to reply to us today on Twitter. So that was
B-Bands at B-Bands.
Yeah,
awesome.
He did it. Yeah, I was like kind of cried a little bit, but no. Yeah. He's for real. Like he's a Mount Rushmore of TA kind of guy. Like he's pretty up there. So
yeah, he's like the anti Peter Brandt.
Yeah, he really. That guy's so cool. I love him though. He's so clueless. Peter.
Peter Brandt?
Yeah, I
I
love
want to
him.
ball tag him so bad and just say it's. I'm joking with you, bro. No, I'm kidding.
Whenever he uses the word cryptomaniacs, I love it. He's like, listen here, cryptomaniacs.
Yeah, and then shit coins are about to get what they deserve. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go delete my 36th call of this year.
Dude, whenever he has a signal on his charts and it doesn't pan out, he just reposts the chart like weeks later and deletes it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. So all right. So getting back to your ETH USD and like sideways alts on the USD pairs. And then you look at the ETH BTC pairs. I mean, for any newbies in here, that just tells you that Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins. And typically in this space, we can use Ethereum versus Bitcoin as a proxy for how well alts are going to do. And so when the ETH BTC pair is falling or going sideways and or grinding, and BTC is going up, that just tells you that alt's probably not the place to be yet or right now. So I mean, what I do want to share another thing, because I shared this on Twitter, but I don't know how many people saw it. There's this famous ETH BTC. It's up at the top. No. There we go. ETH BTC logarithmic growth channel.
Yes.
If you've seen it.
Great channel. Yeah. And it's almost perfect. It's hilarious how perfect so many charts are in crypto. It's like people say TA doesn't work. This looks like art, honestly. Like
this is all you have to go off of, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So if we look at this, guys, this has always been a really good predictor of alt season. Okay, let me expand this so everybody can see. This has been a pretty good predictor of alt season and how alts are going to do, and it's kind of make or break for a lot of alts against BTC. Like straight up, it's because we're right on this chart, and we can. I'm cool with getting a wick below, or on this trend line. I mean, I'm cool with getting a wick below and like faking some people out. And maybe that's what we need for a stop hunt to get alts to go up. But it's got to bounce, man. If we're gonna, alts are gonna be in some pain if they don't bounce here shortly. It's just so many are at key, critical, horizontal, diagonal, Fibonacci support, confluences of all of them, and this is pretty much tells you everything about where alts are right now. And the one thing that I look at when I look at BTC, and you have that August 16th decision date. Well, at what point going into that date and afterwards can alts actually spike? Because if BTC gets denied, everything's going to bleed. If BTC gets approved, alts versus BTC are going to bleed. And so maybe the decision gets delayed and BTC, I mean, what do you think? Like if the decision gets delayed, BTC goes sideways and alts go crazy?
So I read a pretty good thread. I forget who wrote it, but it did the rounds on Twitter. But I think the ETF, the most highly likely scenario is it just continues to be delayed because that's kind of the precedent that the SEC has set. They basically, if they don't have to make the decision, if they have the option to delay, they will. Yeah. So unfortunately, I think, everyone wants a reason to get that bullish momentum back and feel comfortable in a bull market again. But I think it's just what happens. Things like this drag out. So I don't think it'll be like necessarily denied. I think you'll just keep hearing delays. And the last possible delay date was February of 2019. So you can base your TA around thinking the ETF could get approved in September, or like look at something like a February approval. But either way, you could also think another announcement of a delay would mean that we're looking at alts maybe bouncing a little bit because, okay, it's not Bitcoin's time to shine yet. Maybe let's let some of that capital diffuse into altcoins a little bit. But I think while everyone's anticipating that it could happen, Bitcoin's going to steal the show until we get a little more clarity. So yeah, August
place to be. I mean,
yeah.
So
I mean, it always has been. Remember last year? Last year was right at this time. It was the Bitcoin Cash fork, though. That time that really caused it. But altcoins in USD, they were holding steady, but Bitcoin was just going crazy. Like it went from 3K from 5K to 20K in like no time, and people were just kept loading up on Bitcoin, and everything was bleeding out. So you know, a lot of people are expecting something like that to repeat. And if you kind of believe in that idea that a lot of these altcoins are more or less don't have a use case and are just kind of out there just doing nothing, then, you know, that might be what we need to kind of get the market clean of some of these, you know,
I foresee a
shittier projects.
I'm with you on that, Brad. I foresee like a very big culling of these.
Yo, can you put some headphones on, bro?
Me?
Yeah.
Yep, I can.
We couldn't hear you. It was just echoing.
Go ahead, keep chatting. I'll grab a pair.
All right. I don't subscribe to that train of thought yet. Okay. I subscribe to the train of thought that a lot of alts don't have a use case, or a lot of alts are shit coins and useless or redundant. But I don't subscribe to personally to the train of thought that they're going to die, that they're not going to see another light of day or anything like that. Because basically, I mean, okay, I think a lot of alts do have a use case. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. But human greed is not going to leave this market anytime soon. This is a speculative market. Everything is driven off of human greed, in my opinion. And when retail comes back in, the first thing that they look for, all the noobs, institutional money could lead retail back into this market. And when retail gets here, the first thing they look for is to create a Binance account and start buying Verge and Tron and shit like that, and Ripple. And I just look, if we compare this to the tech bubble, that got up to what 3 to 5 trillion or something like that.
Yeah, more than that. I think.
No, it was more towards 10.
Okay, this hasn't even gotten over like 850 billion. Okay, like we're so early, in my opinion, and a lot of these projects, are landing partnerships with big names and stuff like that, and there's a reason why. And then when we start getting a lot of these projects to get to their updated roadmaps and get their staking out and everything like that, and we can't call them necessarily vaporware or just useless blockchains or shitcoins anymore. I truly think that if Ethereum isn't a shitcoin, or if Ethereum has a chance to pump again, I think also have a chance to pump again.
9.6 trillion to be exact, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just fundamentally, all coins, they're not all like, there's so many that are kind of like crowding the market, competing for the same use case. But I don't see any way that they just literally drop off and bottom out like at zero. So as long as there's still alt cycles, then each one's going to pump. And I think that brings up the point of altcoins kind of just provide like liquidity for the whole crypto market. So that's another point people don't really discuss. They can be totally useless, but they still are used by traders just to move in and out of Bitcoin and try to accumulate more Bitcoin. And so, I mean, I would say I'm something near a Bitcoin maximalist, but several successful cryptocurrencies. I just don't, I don't know when the market's going to figure out how to evaluate them properly. And until then, it's just a speculator's dream. We just got things popping off all the time. So,
and if you look at alt season, first off, they only ever last like 3 weeks to a month. And then second, what do alts do the rest of the year? They fucking bleed and die. And then they do it again. And there's nothing from that that's going to change. And then if you look at like the order books and the way that, who am I getting feedback from?
Is it me in my head?
You're on here twice. All right. So if you look at the way that these projects pump during alt season, it's not all at one time. It'll go large caps, mid caps, small caps, micro caps, or you'll get a whack-a-mole from each one of those categories, and people will move from Ripple to Stellar, or from Digibyte to Siacoin, and like the pumps will happen one after another. So these projects don't need to be amazing. They just need to have the sellers exhausted and a little bit of a pump, and then everybody will FOMO in, pretty much. I mean, that's the history of this market. It's been going on for 7 years now with these altcoins. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, it's kind of that brings up another point I've been looking at. Maybe I'll screen share real quick. Let me see if I can get this going. So what I've seen, it's almost like it's crazy how these these 3-month periods have divided altcoin pumps right now. Like we had the beginning of January, there was a big pump. Then we had the beginning of April, and now everything looks like it's bottoming out just in time for the beginning of August. So like, it's kind of funny how it just like clockwork things, like it takes the same amount of time for it to go up to correct, and then to finally bottom out, accumulate again, and go off again. So it's getting interesting to see, and I wonder if we'll ever see that pattern broken of these altcoins. And like you said, it's not like every single one pumps at the same time. There's a hierarchy where you just kind of have big caps go, then not right on down. So it'll just be interesting to see if we just maintain that structure, even if a persistent like bear market would continue for Bitcoin in the long haul. So
yeah, I mean, and I think that's how it's going to happen. Like these things were we truly at an 850 billion market cap? No. Like in terms of what these coins were worth and what the order book said, no. The markets just got bought up to those one at a time, got bought up to those, and before they broke support, that's how you get that market cap pretty much for the overall crypto market cap. But like greed is not going to leave these market guys. Like just like depression and anger, capitulation. If you look at that psychological or the emotions of a market cycle, it just plays out time and time and time again. I mean, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. You want to see what capitulation looks like and how it leads to another alt season. The best chart for this is Ripple from last market cycle. Let me get it off log. So if you look here, like, and let me take off volume.
Wow.
Look at that. Okay, so it was at this key horizontal support area right there, like ish. Move it up, move it down, real bodies, whatever. And it was trying to hold that. And a lot of alts look like they're kind of here right now where they're just going sideways, like you said earlier. And then it broke and it got the last of the sellers out of the market. There were no sellers up and down this entire chart anymore. Everybody had sold. And then magically within 3 to 4 weeks, it had done a plus, like, what did it get to? Plus 1,400%.
Good God.
But it all happened because of this final stop hunt, this final capitulation. People said, screw it, I'm out of this. This is a scam. And how would you like to be the people that sold down here? And then it goes up to, 1,500% and in 3-4 weeks. That's pure craziness.
That was gonna.
Hold up. I still have a screen share going on, I'm going to screen share and get mine going real quick. I still have my chart up that I posted on Twitter that got some pretty good circulation. But even the pattern, the way that it corrected, and you see the long bleed out, it's the same thing. It's crazy how like this is 2017 spring to summer alt season. Then you have this dump out. You have this like fake out alt season where everyone got excited. All your permables on Twitter were tweeting, it's time, 10x, I'm not selling, and then obviously that didn't last. We failed a horizontal support. Then we failed it, like Noah said, we failed another one. And this is that ultimate capitulation. And I feel like when you look at our current alt cycle, I was seeing a lot of people on Twitter be very bullish right around this area. They were like, it's time. And I don't really see anyone saying it's time as much anymore.
Key indicator, man. When people weren't saying it's time.
Yeah, and it's hitting its last little support level. So if you look here, there was this mini pump back in 2017. Then it corrected, and it looks tiny, but it's actually a pretty steep correction. And then that ended up being the horizontal that it bounced off of. And if you look here, this was the first pump of the alt cycle, and we're laying right on that horizontal right there. So, I think that might be the last line of defense, and it could get pretty ugly if we break through that. So we'll see. We'll keep watching, but if it breaks through that, we might be looking at a full retrace down here. Things could get ugly. But, I mean, it's just been that perfect 3-month cool down period. I think alts are getting ready. If not even for an alt season, like a 5X, 10X type thing, I think we'll just see a very significant bounce across the board. So,
and it's actually fallen below its macro 786 of this market cycle, which tells you the 886 is next at like 3,600 sats. So, and I've been telling my private group to like 3,600 sats when you get a chance, long Ripple right around there. Because those on first tries, those 886s almost always hold for a nice bounce. So, yeah, and then from there we'll see what happens. I mean, you can't call market reversals off that 886 bounce, but you usually can, because when it comes down to the 886, you usually get such a low price that it doesn't take much to get 50% ROI off a wick, or even 75% off of a wick, because the market's been so depressed, and the buyers see something, and then it just takes off. So there'll be a lot of that. And the thing about it is these alt seasons don't happen, like I said, over the course of a couple months or anything like that. They happen fast. And that's how they happen, is that FOMO takes over. And all the sellers, after it capitulates, all the sellers were knocked out of that chart. And then FOMO happens. People say, oh shit, I got to jump on. And then that's how you get these insane spikes. And then you got to take your profits.
You don't go broke taking profits.
That is correcto mundo, senor. So, yeah, there's a lot of charts that are at extremely key supports right now. Like, let me pull up. Komodo is one of them, and Komodo's it's meaningless, right? Like, it's a meaningless coin in terms of a proxy for the crypto market. It's a follower, but if you look at it, let me share again. There's just so many charts look like this. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Looks like the Ripple chart.
Yeah, right?
Seriously, like, can we just take a second from a FA perspective on market cycles? It's just, look at it. Just look at it.
So draw a fib from the bottom of the chart to the top of the chart, right? Just for the first entire market cycle. And the market seems to be respecting this. You have the 886 bounce here, but it's been trying to hold this 886 as well as this first spike's horizontal, kind of like with Ripple, like you said earlier, that first spike, resistance turn support. It's trying to hold it. Let me delete this yellow line right here. But after that, man, we're looking at 13,187 sats at the 0.93, and then after that, I mean, 1.0s don't usually hold. You're probably looking at a 113 or a 1272 retrace after that, and that kind of shit gets really, really ugly. And then if you look at the RSI, I mean, look at that. It's at 27 on the daily. It just kind of looks like a market that's given up entire hope. You know what I'm saying? So,
looks like we've got a nice little bullish divergence there. I couldn't see quite zoomed in, but you're seeing that on a lot of altcoin charts too, depending. I'm usually careful about divergences. I like to see them be less than 14 candles apart. That's kind of a general rule that I follow, but even so, that one looked like a nice little, we saw a lower low, but the divergence looked to be higher. Yep, looks like it's higher now that I'm looking at it.
I got another one for you. You like bullish divergences?
I'm a big fan of bull divs,
especially on dailies, right? Like dailies get excited. Look at freaking Neo, bro. Like, look at that. Let me share this again.
Oh my gosh! Look, the
long-term trend line, right? It's fallen below the 200 and the 786. Shit, this yellow line. I was trying to find some horizontal support somewhere around here, and this is like the only one that I could find. But look at that bull div size on that daily.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, look how far below the new low is too. Like, it's not like it's just a marginal new low. Like that was a kind of a capitulation right there. Yeah, dude, it's showing up everywhere. And I know it's probably time to buy altcoins because when I started buying them, I felt like sick to my stomach. I'm like, oh God, these are going to go down overnight. I'm going to wake up and all my stops are going to trigger. So like when I feel like that deep down, I feel like that's the exact time when I need to be laddering my buys in. So that's what I've been doing personally.
Like, okay, I know trend lines aren't supposed to be like the be all end all, but in cryptos they can be, because again, these markets aren't based off fundamentals, man. These are undeveloped markets, and the only thing that you have to go to trade these charts off of is the technicals. That's the only thing, and that's why so many of these are technically literally perfect. And this trend line is significant. I mean, it's held a lot. You look how many times it held down here over to the left, and then after this entire market cycle, what caught it? This trend line. Usually you need 3 touches for a trend line, but I'll call this 3 touches over here on the left because it's more significant if you zoom in. So we get a 4th over here, and then is this really going to break it? I'm just like, this feels to me like, and I manage my risk well anyway, so that if this really is alt death, I'll be fine. But this smells like something that could fake everybody out, just like with that Ripple chart last time. Where you get a candle below with a gigantic bullish engulfing to the upside, and the market says it faked you out and it got out the last of its sellers. Like this is the case for alt season, guys. We're not saying it's going to happen, but this is the case for it. And a lot of times where there's smoke, there's fire, and we're just saying there's a lot of smoke right now.
There's so much smoke. I could go on and on about the smoke. And the thing is, the only thing that I would say is not a signal is the way that I feel about the market, like my own personal emotional bullishness. But other than that, the technicals, the signs, they're just everywhere. You've got so many alts doing the same thing. They've got like a big falling wedge showing, or a bullish divergence, or a lot of them are on those trend lines, like you said. And I just think now's the time to be buying. And what I'm seeing on Twitter and other places, as far as like how enthusiastic people are, only encourages me more, because I'm not seeing people talk about their buy orders they're loading up on. That was 2 weeks ago. People just said, got my bids filled, blah, blah, blah. You're not seeing that as much anymore. So,
and you're noticing
I encourage people to still
about coins and like their communities and stuff like that too. Like calling people like dumbasses for holding coins, or like calling out specific projects and like good projects with solid fundamentals for an altcoin, and saying like they're like, oh, you got scammed or something like that. You're just seeing a lot of bitterness, around altcoins.
Yeah. Oh, it's salt season, and everyone knows salt season precludes alt season, or precedes alt season. So
I've been dollar cost averaging while you guys have been doing TA.
What'd you buy, bro?
Oh, just all over the map. Anything. Again, I like to value invest, so something that actually has a use case and or at least I'm seeing development in. I have not loaded up on any more Ripple though, even though it seems to be an easy play back and forth.
Yeah. Well, if you're a value investor, I don't know if I would necessarily go for Ripple first of all.
That's exactly what I was saying. It was good to play on, but I'm not going to joke like you two. I can't.
That's much more of a technical coin. Yeah, I'm not. I'll be the first to tell you I'm not all about the Ripple fundamentals and business model. But also, I'm not the classic naysayer on Twitter that's just going to say there's no use case for international settlements, because there is
absolutely a use case for it. But it bastardizes like what it was meant for, in the first place.
Yeah. It's more about the centralization and what Coinbase has come out and said about like the types of coins they want to add. Ripple pretty much violates those conditions because of their corporate headquarters and their control of the coin supply and all that. So, the
best thing is hearing Ripple fanboys say that XRP and Ripple have nothing to do with each other.
That's just like the best mental gymnastics you'll hear on crypto Twitter. That's always a fun one to engage in. Yeah, nothing to do with each other.
The thing with Ripple is that international remittances are a huge market, and if you look at Swift, the platform that handles most, if not all, international bank remittances, they're slow. They take forever, and that's like been Ripple's thing forever. But the problem with XRP is that, do you really need it? Because RippleNet should work just fine, and you're still going to save a ton of money and get you can get the transfer of payment sent extremely fast, and the return for using XRP is truly diminished when you can just use RippleNet. So, like, what's the point here of using XRP and going to your board and saying, hey, we need to buy this many XRP, and then by the time you buy it, 3 weeks later, it could be worth 75% of what you bought it for. And so now you have less liquidity on hand and you look like an ass. And the only thing that's going to solve this in this market is, okay, XRP being truly adopted, but an ass ton of liquidity being shoved into this market from top to bottom. That's the only thing that's going to solve this volatility, is us being at like a $4 to $5 trillion market cap.
I saw a call the other day that Ripple was going to go to like $47.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's just not possible.
You remember that, Brad? I might have posted that in the fam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You did.
There is do you economics like?
Do you know what a market cap is?
For market cap equals supply times price. You are calling $47.
Jeez, what a savage!
I
wish.
wish.
Likes that probably got.
Yeah, it probably got clapped up by all the fanboys.
Yeah. XRP the standard, baby.
That's all right. Only 40 trillion, no, billion in circulation. Excuse me, not trillion. I lied.
All right.
Yeah, 40 billion.
Okay, so Brandon H says, can you do some TA on Cash?
Ooh.
So Cash is an interesting one, right? That project is far away. I like the project. I like the fundamentals. It's far away. They're going to change it to the liquid token, right? That's good. Now on the daily, let me expand this. We have a pretty significant bull div. Price is lower, right? And then the RSI is higher, your oscillator. There we go. So there's your bull div. That's nice. I'm going to delete that. We know that's there. Don't forget about it. However, the thing I don't like is that 1.0 retraces. So we drew from the bottom of the market cycle to the top. 1.0 retraces don't usually hold in my experience. Usually the market wants more blood. And the next fib level is 1403. So not that 1.0s can't hold, because what is a 1.0? It's just a horizontal, right? So, this horizontal basically has to hold, and that being right around like we'll call it 3,000 sats, guys, is that big round psychological number. And you have this bull div. So there's your bounce criteria. This bull div needs to come through. But if not, we're looking at maybe 1,400 sats on capitulation. I hate to break it down to you that way. And the problem with the project is that, people are worried about what the coin is actually going to be used for, because what they're saying they want to use it for is a little bit different than with pre-ICO, what they were talking about. And it's a great team. It's a great advisors, everything. But it's going to become the liquid token, I believe, and we'll see. It just seems like it's far away right now. So yeah, you probably still have ICO investors selling too. I don't know what its ICO price was.
Speaking of ICOs, we should touch on that reverse ICO stuff too. How about that?
Oh, yeah. What we were talking about in the group.
Yeah, in Slack. That was very interesting.
Well, to explain, the reverse ICO, what we're saying is taking an existing company with equity shares and tokenizing those equity shares and then selling those to market. So basically just converting the stock to a digital form that you can have on the blockchain. And then we got on the subject of, what if instead of ever doing an IPO at all, companies that are looking to ICO just make it legally so that when you're buying their coin, you're buying a stake of their company, just like a stock share would be. So we were talking about that, and honestly, that seems to me like that's just almost inevitable in the next 5 years or so. That
I totally agree.
Some companies are gonna try to get that done, and it'll just expand their investor base. I don't think you'll have the capital requirements. At least maybe maybe it'll be the exact same capital requirements. Like you need to be an accredited investor. I don't know, but
right.
Ideally, I want cryptocurrency to expand investment opportunities for people that aren't, wealthy and making 250,000 a year or whatever those investment requirements are.
Requirements for accredited investors. Yeah, and in my world, I really like my dividend reinvestments, right? And like having a company where you can have essentially dividends of token, right? You buy in shares and you're not buying stock. There's no intermediary. It's all on the chain and you own it, and then you get shares to those profits. And we were kind of touching on that too. Like this is some future shit right here.
Yeah, it would eliminate like a lot of middleman work and stuff. If you could just have your actual dividends just distributed to your wallet instead of having to have an E-Trade account, like that'd be amazing. You're just like literally getting money distributed into your wallet because it's all run on a smart contract. So yeah, I mean, to me, that's the future.
What is stock? You own a part of a company. What is a dividend? You get part of the profits of that company. And then from there, I'd like to layer in the next thing and say companies that want to publicly offer shares and give dividends to shareholders in the token form and have that be completely private. So, me and my whole big government thing, you could essentially have some type of ownership sequence that is anonymous in a sense.
Yeah. You guys want to hear about a good dividend that I discovered today?
Hit it.
This is exciting. So VeChain, right? They just switched from VEN to VET. So, and then you know how Neo has gas that powers the blockchain. VeChain, when it switched to VET, all of a sudden you can stake VTHO, VTHOR, and that's the gas for that blockchain. So I was messing around. The only market right now that VTHO is on is LBank. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's like a newer exchange. It actually has a nice interface. But I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you guys something. So looking at this, I hope everyone can see. I'll actually zoom in. Here we go. If you want 1 million VET, okay, which was 10,000 VeChain before because it did 100 to 1 stock split or coin split. If you own a 1 million VET, which is exactly the number that I happen to own, actually, per day you get 420 VTHOR, right? And then per year that's 153,000. But if we go to LBank here and we look at the exchange, actually I should have it up already. There we go. It's only on an ETH market, but VeChain itself is 2.5 cents, and VTHOR is almost 4 cents. Okay, so VTHOR is worth more than VeChain. Tells you that it's more scarce, I guess. But if you take 4 cents over the course of the year, and you stake this, and you get 153,300 of them, 153,300 times 0.04. It's $6,000 a year for owning $24,000 worth of VeChain. Okay, so it's a 25% dividend basically, and that's not remotely counting what VeChain is going to be priced or VTHOR 1 year from now. I mean, chances are it's going to be 10x because it's a phenomenal project in my opinion. And so you could be looking at staking off of a $24,000 investment, maybe getting like 60,000 if it 10x's from here off of that 365 days from now. 25% to me, guys, is ridiculous for a non-masternode coin. And yes, 1 million is their lowest node level, but you don't have to lock it in for any specific period of time. You just hold it just like you do Neo and Gas in the wallet, and it stakes over time. So for anybody looking for a lucrative staking mechanism, now that Gas and Neo aren't necessarily as lucrative, VeChain and VTHOR are right up there. So,
well, find a dividend paying. I don't even want to say stock. Find something that pays dividends that has that type of project base behind it or future that isn't a complete shit shoot, you know?
And they have a partnership with BMW, and they're going for the luxury goods market. And this is an amazing project with a lot of backing. With a lot of backing, phenomenal advisory board, great dev team, everything. So I have nothing but hope for this.
and I think that I think this could get pretty wonky, like projects like this that are offering staking like that. So because when you have staking, guys, you lock up a lot of the sell side liquidity off the order book. People don't have an incentive to sell; they have an incentive to hold, and it also secures and powers the blockchain. So as VeChain goes up, VeThor should go up even more.
Music to my ears.
That's my opinion. What do you think, Brad?
I'm a bag holder, so I just want all the good news on VeChain. So I'm loving what you're hearing. I'm also looking at it, touching on the 0.786 fib right now. So I'm loving that too. Charting it in my window. So
the only thing is that with that airdrop tomorrow, I think that's what's propping up the price right now on VeChain.
Yeah.
Binance.
We'll see. It actually has a little bit of distance to go to that 0.786. So maybe it'll get a little sell off from that, the last little shakeout, and then a alt season. I think we're looking at 1 or 2 weeks before we start seeing any serious pumps, which it's almost like, can we really like drag on sideways for that long? But I think like the longer we stay calm and like suspiciously quiet, the more chance that we're about to see a big move. So that'll be I'm hoping we stay put as far as Bitcoin goes, because we all know that sideways Bitcoin is a good indicator of a pending alt season.
Nobody ever, and again, guys, we only need 3 weeks for an alt season. Okay, like you don't need much. Greed takes over fast. People take their profits, and it's over. And you wait.
They're getting quick, yeah. So it's interesting. We tweeted about a week ago from Crypto Fam. We talked about Bitcoin. It had a nice surge up, but altcoins didn't do anything, and you usually expect that that capital to kind of flow down through the market. And so I predicted it would range between 8,400 and either the next fib down, the 0.5 at 79, or one below that, the 0.382 at 74. And I think if we can just hold that range for, like you said, 3 weeks, that's all the time we need for alt season. But also a lot of people are waiting for 10K Bitcoin. So we'll see. What do you think? What do you think, Noah? You think we're going to hit 10K or?
Gosh, dude, I'm all right. So I've made 2 really good trades on Bitcoin this past few days. It's just 7,800 and then 7,850. Like long it, leverage, and have fun. But other than that, like we're sandwiched between those moving averages, the 200-day and the 20 EMA on the daily, and like we're right at that 618 fib level resistance. If we get over that, that's a big thing. And then you got the 200 moving average right there too. And if we get over that, that's a big thing. And then I think we break 10K if we get over the 200 moving average, like I truly do.
Yeah.
But again, I got a hedge, bro. Like August 16th, what's going to happen?
Right. Well, so I fundamentally think that we're going to get another delay. So I don't know if we're going to go up on the news of a delay. I don't think that's in the cards, to be honest. So I wouldn't. If 90% of people are expecting us to go up, that just means being in that other 10% is a bigger opportunity to make profit, because it's an overcrowded trade if 90% of people want expecting it. So I hammer that point home from our Twitter all the time. I just tell people, just remember, like, look at the past 7 months on the chart. This is a downtrend. That's how you define it. So like always be on the lookout, always be prepared to invalidate your assumptions that we're going back up. Always be ready to start another leg down, because it could happen anytime. So I personally, I don't think we're going to hit 10K this run up. I would love to see it, but I guess the bear market's beat me up. A lot of people are calling for a bull trap or the reversal. And if this were the reversal, I would just be shocked at how fast it happened. So I'll keep playing it careful, but I'm looking for shorts on higher up fibs like 8,400. So
for sure. And everybody has to remember the path of least resistance is to the downside right now, right? And it's been a bear trend, and the one thing, we're not saying the price is going to go down forever or anything like that, but people are going to take the profits, and so you should be protected if you get in at the right level. Myself and any trader that's worth something, if you think that I am awesome, but any good trader is going to tell you that entry is everything. And so if you can get a good entry, I don't think you can go bad. At least scalp shorting. Like scalp shorting is so easy right now. But we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting, and this is it feels like a big pivot point's coming up this market. And I'll tell you, on August 16th, I'm going to have 2 BitMEX accounts open, staring at the screen all day with market orders ready to go. Because if I see a tweet first, and I'm market ordering, if it's good, I'm longing. If it's bad, I'm shorting. And I'm expecting to make a lot of profit that day. So.
Yeah, you definitely will. It's going to be a big enough move that if you're glued to the screen, you're going to be able to ride it out a little bit. So I personally just don't even feel comfortable doing a short-term strategy like that. I'm more of a swing trader or position trader, but I don't blame you at all for acting on that news, because it's going to I think it's going to bring significant volume too when we get it. So
yeah. All right, we have one more request, and then we're going to talk about something, and then we'll get going. ETC. Somebody wants to see ETC.
Oh yeah, let's do ETC. Hey, ETC is. I know that Coinbase announced they were doing a little round of additions, or possibly what they were looking at. But ETC, don't forget, they announced support for ETC before even those coins. So
that's very true.
ETC should be on Coinbase, and then here's another point. We talked about the average person that's not experienced in crypto, how they like buying the cheap coins, the like $1, $10. Well, if ETC is the 4th coin on Coinbase, it's going to be the cheapest one on there. So I wonder if people will buy
Litecoin when that happened.
Yeah, exactly. Like Litecoin popped off, and what if it's the next Bitcoin? So
yeah, being the cheapest coin on Coinbase is huge. That's why if ZRX or Basic Attention Token or Cardano or Lumens get on there, they're going to go absolutely psycho. I'll show you some technicals, because I talked about this in my stream today for Ethereum Classic. And this is the Bitcoin pair. It is right on this macro 886, and then you had your downtrend line from the top of the peak to the second peak to the bull trap. So, and that's that pink line, and it's moved sideways out of there. Sideways movement isn't always a bad thing, guys. But then also, if we draw from this peak to this peak, we had a wick above, but it was a false break. So if we draw from this peak to this peak, we broke out, came back, retested it, and then came back, and we've kind of false broken below. And that 0.886 for what seems like the 958,000th time has held. So you're going to need to look at the USD chart to get a feel for if this is actually something that could perform. And I personally believe that it is, because if you look at it, and you guys can see I chart a shit ton of coins all the time. If you look at it, all right, so a bearish pennant, typically, or a bullish pennant, you're going to want a longer flagpole than this typically. But let's say that this is a good enough flagpole. And we can see this is a consolidation period. So what is a consolidation period? It's a high, a lower high, higher low, and then continue on, and it tightens. And if you use Bollinger Bands, you're going to get tightened Bollinger Bands. If you use moving averages, you're going to get tightened moving averages. And it just moves on down the line until a decision, an inflection point happens. And that is what you're seeing with ETC right now. Now, it's on top of the 20 EMA, which is on top of the 50 moving average. That is good. This is not a bullish chart yet, because for a bullish chart, you're going to want the 20 above the 50 and both above the 200. But when it's above the 20 EMA and the 20 is above the 50 on the daily, that tells you that a flattening daily 200 moving average, if this can keep going sideways, you'll start getting more of a flattened daily 200 moving average. That can be a very big price magnet. So I think that you could at least get ETC up to 2050, like right around there. But if we're going to call this a flagpole, and we're going to do a measured move here, that could take us right up into like the 23 to 25-ish area, like right around there. And that's a bullish case. If not, you can probably look to long and again at $13, to be honest with you. But I think if you get a chance to get it at the bottom of this consolidation pattern one more time, the risk reward on that trade criteria is absolutely there. You know where you're going to get stopped out at. You're going to get stopped out on, for me, on a daily close. Let's say this is there we go. It's horizontal on a daily close below this wick here. Like you'll get, for me, I'll be out. Like, all right, I'm good on this horizontal level. But other than that, that should hold at least for a bounce. You can take some profits up here, put a break even stop or a stop right below break even, lock in your risk management and see what happens on it, because we know it has that Coinbase pump coming, guys, like straight up. So
yeah, I'd be very surprised if we don't see any kind of Coinbase pump on that. And also, it's a lot of these little these altcoin USD pairs like we were just looking at, or altcoin Tether. You know, it's been trading in that narrow range. You gotta wonder if the big boys are accumulating, waiting for that Coinbase pump, because they know they can sucker in a lot of new money and retail money on something like fundamental like that. When Coinbase formally announces that you can trade ETC, you know you're going to see a reaction. So if you're smart money, you want a pretty large amount of ETC whenever that happens. I think even in a bear market, even if Bitcoin has started heading back down, you still see some kind of a strong pump out of a Coinbase ad. So
Did you on Bitcoin Cash when it did the fork?
What's that?
Or when it went over to I'm sorry, not the fork. When it went over to Coinbase, like I kept remember watching that in disbelief, keep going up and up, and up.
Dude, I always wonder, you know, obviously there's manual trading going on there, but do bots sometimes like get out of control and like break their algorithms there? Like, I know we saw that on a Viacoin on Binance. I remember like a few months back, it went to like an absurd amount. And then Syscoin went to like 96 BTC or something. So I wonder if you had a combo of insider trading with Bitcoin Cash. I know everyone was real concerned about that. Like, cause you could see signs on the chart of a little pre-pump before they announced that, like an accumulation pump and then the real pump. So, but yeah, either way, the Coinbase ad has phenomenal power over the crypto world. Everyone's trying to get in on the next Coinbase pump, the next Coinbase ad. So
wait until a few more U.S. exchanges get fiat onboarding. Good game.
Yeah,
it's gonna be bonkers.
I saw, what other coins were people asking about? I thought I saw a few.
Lux was on there. Oh, Noah's hitting Lux.
Yeah, I said Lux is hurting, but I still love it. Smart contracts will be enabled within the next 10,000 blocks, I believe. And the fundamentals are there for sure. Just needs to get some momentum. It needs to find a bottom range and then get some momentum. And then somebody asked about OCN airdrop, and CoinSpector said, also, what are your thoughts on the OCN airdrop affecting their price? I said, that's over the next 5 years, right? That's essentially staking, in my opinion, but it should help, but not be a game changer. But it should help, right? So I think OCN needs to get on a better exchange, regardless of what you think of the project. It needs to get on a better, more liquid exchange than just KuCoin for it to go boom boom. So that's my opinion. Okay, so I know that you're on a little bit of a ICX, guys, 11.7K. That's the macro 886 fib retracement. That's the only thing this market has to go on right now. So you're looking at 11,700 sats, like right around there. Brad, I know you're on a little bit of a time crunch. I did want to talk about something though. The Voice of Blockchain concert or conference. Are you going to that?
Yes, I am. Barring anything coming up, but yeah, I'm making my way out there. You're going there now, right?
I am. Yeah, I think we're all staying.
All of us in the same hotel, boys.
Oh my God, it's gonna be. Oh Jesus,
it's gonna
my liver.
Well,
my liver is gonna be hurting.
I haven't had beer in a long time, so yeah.
I've heard on the
I hope you're
4 shots of cognac and stuff. So cognac, as they would say.
Yes.
Do you drink cognac?
No, we don't. But there are people that do.
You guys might need to pump my stomach that night, because like
yeah, right.
I'm not a lightweight historically.
During Bitcoin hitting 25K though, we're good.
Gosh, it's gonna be like straight up. That's gonna be a blockchain circle jerk. Like, hey, what's your favorite project? What's your Twitter?
Like, it's gonna be fun though, because I'm excited to meet a lot of awesome people. So
I'm
Right.
trying to pick the brains of some of the, like, Jimmy Song's going to be there. There's going to be definitely some notable names there. So I'll try to talk to them. There's also going to be a lot of people that we're used to talking to on crypto Twitter. Honestly, it's going to be very interesting to me to just put some faces to names. I wonder how many people are going to try to like stay anonymous and stuff, because there's people going that have a Twitter account that, like, you don't know their name if they're going to introduce themselves or what.
Like Crypto Dog.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
Who knows?
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I want to pick your guys' brain on something. Am I? Is my audio good, Noah? Am I just being loud?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So Ethan and I, my middle brother, have been going back and forth, and I'm sure Brad's heard a little bit about this. There's a bet going right now, and I know Ethan's watching right now. I think the bet was 1 LTC if total market cap gets above 600 billion this year.
Oh, and who wins the LTC?
I'm bullish. He's bearish.
Oh, he's toast.
That's what I thought. Can you explain? So can you explain your thoughts on why? Because we've gone back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm extremely bullish on the future in general, but this kind of short stint.
The lower this market cap goes, the higher it's going this year, in my opinion. Like, the lower the alts bleed right now, because when you finally get that last level of capitulation, and you guys saw it, shit gets wonky in 3 fucking weeks, guys. All right, and that's historically like 3 weeks to a month. And the lower it goes, and the more support levels that are broken, the higher, in my opinion, of a spring that on the upside of a reversal that it'll go. So he better start hoping for some sideways movement for a long time, in my opinion.
Yes, because I was pretty bullish, and I was even saying that if we can get the Bitcoin ETF going, that a trillion's no question, in my opinion, when a Bitcoin ETF goes through, like it's game. Because of all the happy and great money that's about to come from the 401ks and the hedges and things like that,
But it's got to be this year, so you're running out of time.
Well, no, but yeah, I was thinking a trillion, but he made the bet with me, one Litecoin on the 600 billion teeter-totter.
Hey, Ethan, that's really going to hurt when Litecoin's $1,000 that you got to pay him.
I was going to say, you basically gave him like a 4-to-1 odds bet, because even though the payout's one Litecoin, if you lose the bet, crypto is probably not doing well. But if you win the bet, Litecoin's going to be worth a shit ton. So
yeah, Ethan, I hope you understand how high Litecoin is going to go in the future, and this is my opinion. But as a test net for Bitcoin, and as Lightning Network keeps going, and you get atomic swaps, and Bitcoin's your store of value, and Litecoin is not only your test net but your actual currency that you can switch in between, and then we get another block halving before BTC. Like, your best friend is January 1st, 2019, because I think Litecoin's going to go psycho in the future. Because if Bitcoin ETF gets approved, guess what? Litecoin's a copy and paste of that code. They can get a Litecoin ETF or a Bitcoin and Litecoin weighted ETF. Pretty simply.
So I feel like all these conversations now are going so well. I want to talk one more. The other thing we were talking about is private versus public blockchain moving into the future. And how I kind of mentioned earlier that there could be a culling of some of the altcoins that have no premise and no purpose. But I think there's going to be thousands of different tokens, because anything that has a use case has a tokenization system involved with it. So it ever getting to the point where there is 15 to 20 tokens, that's unrealistic, right?
Yeah, I mean, because interoperability is going to be the future. So then interoperability by design allows for much more than 15 to 20 tokens. Like, it allows you to have your cake and eat it too, in my opinion.
Yeah, and who's going to stop exchanges from listing hundreds of speculative tokens on ICO? I don't know. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever see that day, but who knows?
Well, my thought is, for even blockchains in general and the necessity for tokens, if you have a private chain per se, where it starts out even maybe in the reverse ICO style.
Is that something you want to tell us, John?
No, not yet. With time, brother, with time. I am extremely bullish on the future, and for all of the use cases blockchain's going to have across many industries. And you can go look at IBM, you can go look at PricewaterhouseCoopers and all these guys talking about $10 trillion opportunities just in one industry alone. And then on top of that, The internet boom, like we just talked about earlier this episode, was 9.6 trillion. And
yeah, dude, we're gonna. This was a pre bubble. I think we're gonna have another bubble, and it's gonna make this bubble kind of look small. To be honest,
only 30 million people have used cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, and I think the ETF thing is actually the spur that actually makes this happen. And I also believe the ETF won't go through till 2019. So who knows? I can't predict what the SEC is going to do, but from what I've gathered, that's what I expect. And the reason I think that is right now it's just too much work, and it's people aren't used to or don't want to go out of their comfort zone and learn this new tech and expose themselves to the risks. But when financial advisors start deciding it's a good idea to put small percentages of their clients' retirement funds into Bitcoin in the form of the ETF, which will enable it and make it much easier and safer, then everyone will technically be able to own some without even having to use it. So you've got people saying, well, that's bad for adoption if they're not using it the way. But I don't think it is. I think Bitcoin's whole purpose was to become money, to become a store of value, to be something that could run independently of a government. And it's going to stay there and be there until the end of time if it works the way that Satoshi saw it working. So I think when you see that start to happen, average people are getting exposure through like retirement funds. I mean, that's when you start thinking about the gold market cap around 7 trillion being a real possibility for Bitcoin or crypto at large. Because why wouldn't it? If the global economy sees that gold is worth 7 trillion, its total market cap, because of it's just a store of value and it's scarce and it's a uncorrelated asset to fiat money in stocks, then why couldn't Bitcoin once it gains that trust? So why couldn't it? It's better than gold. Realistically, you can't spend gold in small amounts and send it.
So much better than gold. Math.
I want to find that real quick.
It's so much better than gold because you can, and just look at like 99 million of Litecoin was sent cross border in like 2 minutes for 33 cents or something like that. And you can't do that. And even Bitcoin, like it would have been so much cheaper if you move gold from one country to another. That much gold, like $90 million of the gold, it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You know what? I want to share my screen. Noah, I know I've sent this table to you guys before, and I can make this real quick. Here we go. The first time I'm screen sharing. Let's do screen.
Please tell me there's porn on there.
Oh, of course there is. Okay, you guys see your pretty face, Noah, there?
Yes.
And this right here, this is one of my favorite things to look at that compares commodities or gold with fiat paper and then what crypto does.
Link that in the chat.
Okay. It's wonderful. Notice the one thing where it's low.
We can't really see that too well.
Oh, crap. My bad. Well, I'll link it. Give me a sec.
If you link it, we can all click on it.
Yep, absolutely. It is in the YouTube chat.
But Brad, while we're clicking on this, getting back that BTC ETF, like that'll obviously lead institutions in, but the earliest that you will be able to invest in that ETF, and if it's a Solid X one, it'll be 25 BTC minimum purchase, so it'll be for bigger investors, right? And it'll protect the little guys. But the earliest, if it gets approved on August 16th, like the earliest that you're going to be able to invest in that is, I believe, February 2019. And so that's going to give you 6 to 8 months of gold rush of get the fuck in right now or else. And guess what? The institution speculation before it can actually come in will lead retail into these markets. Everybody will find themselves owning a shit ton of Bitcoin before February 2019. And you can look at the gold ETF chart when it was introduced to see what happens. The markets go psycho. And it's basically gonna spill over into all the other coins. People are gonna go to Coinbase to buy Bitcoin. They're gonna see it's $13,000 or whatever, $10,000, you name it. And then they're gonna see Litecoin sitting there at $120. They're gonna see ETC at $20. They're gonna see, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Why do shit coins pump? They're always the cheap coins, which is why I'm happy that VeChain just went from 100 to 1 coin split, because now they're 2.5 cents instead of $2.50, and people like cheap shit. So yeah.
No, I agree. The reason to buy altcoins, that like idea that they could be the next Bitcoin, or that they haven't had they haven't matured yet in their market cycle, and you could get in early before other people. That's always going to exist. Like that's always going to be a possible selling point. So yeah, like on one hand, a lot of people are waiting for this day of reckoning for altcoins, but like that's always going to be there, and they're always going to have people trying to sell them on, actually our coin is better than Bitcoin, and it's going to blah blah blah, or it's different than Bitcoin, which they are. And like I really do hope that some of these start seeing like full-blown adoption. But until then, I'm just playing the charts. You know, some people, John's a value investor. I'm a technical guy, and I don't need to have a fundamental love for a coin to buy it. So I'm gonna keep playing this game all I can.
Hey,
Go ahead.
There's nothing wrong with having different types of mentalities like that. Like people are good or buy different ways. Just because your way of investment, you know, I know you guys are killing it right now when it comes to the TA side, but I don't play that much of a game, and to each their own, right?
Where'd you link that at in the Discord?
In the Bitcoins and Beers episode.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna link that in the chat here. All right.
You wouldn't let me link it in it, so.
I mean, to speak to what you just said, the coins that I like to value invest into, or like invest into, are coins that either have scarcity or staking, or some, you know, platforms, protocols, proof of work, and then some sort of staking as well. So I'm incentivized to hold it. But just like you said, Brad, like playing the chart right now, you kind of have to. Like that's why, in my opinion, you should have a portion of your portfolio for long-term holds, and you should get paid for those long-term holds, or let scarcity do that for you via dividends if you're going to get paid for long-term holds. But then swing trade stack and short-term trade, quick flip stack, and like, but stay net weighted liquid, so that you can take advantage of this volatility, because there's so many prime setups day in, day out that it's like if you have ADHD, which I do, it's like paradise.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at the recent cycles we've had, like that April little bust didn't last hardly any time. So if you're a long-term holder, you probably wouldn't have sold at the top of that. But if you're playing the charts, you know, I can buy coins I'm not a fan of and sell them after a 50% gain or 100% gain. Or I'm thinking that this alt cycle, I think we'll be able to make some 100% gains in USD, and that's about the top of what I'm like. I could see Ethereum going up near 900, and that being where it tops out. So like that's not a long-term hold. Like if Ethereum succeeds at what it's trying to do, it could be $10,000. But like we don't. That's a retirement strategy. You buy it, you put it in cold storage, and you walk away, and you don't touch it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But
and if ETH switches to proof of stake, how does that affect the SEC's decision that they're no longer security as well, if they're paying a dividend? You know, do they really want to do that?
That's a loaded question, but I wonder if, since they already kind of came out and made a statement, if that means that they wouldn't bother changing it. Like, do they comprehend the tokenomics enough to be like, actually, now you guys are a security, so now we do have to regulate you. I don't know.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy. So I know they're Ethereum's trying to switch. So,
but that switch would that could be a catalyst to look at it differently. You don't want to go back and rule on something from 2010 or whatever if it's been doing the same process, which is the same reason why they didn't do it with Bitcoin. But I mean, from a regulator perspective, if the fundamentals and then the coin has an implied return on investment, that could, you know, if that switch happens now, that's a different investment, you know?
I think they were less focused on the dividend aspect and more focused on the decentralization. Because when I read their statement, it was more about how there isn't like one controlling party that you can definitely point to. And like a lot of BTC maximalists will talk about Vitalik and all the, you know, how he's so central to that. But at the end of the day, it is open source. People are contributing from around the world. So I think that it does.
Ridiculous group of, like, how many devs they have.
Yeah.
You guys know Solidity devs are making like $250K a year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I need to learn Solidity. So
right.
But the problem, like, okay, so
proof of stake blockchains are inherently faster than proof of work by nature. That's just how it goes. Like a lot of them. And so ETH needs to scale, and they're pushing out 30 to 45 transactions per second right now. And that's just not going to cut it for the world supercomputer that they're trying to be.
Right.
So they got to do something. And what's that going to be? We'll see. But that's for another time.
Cool.
Brad, you got anything else to add, brother? I know that you're going to Arizona or something like that, so you got to.
Yeah. No, I talked about all I want to talk about, I think. Anyone can ask us questions on the Crypto Fam Twitter anytime. We'll do our best. And I'd love it
in the description to their Twitter.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Thanks for including that. And then I'd love to come on again too. So this was fun.
Yeah, man, definitely. I would definitely love to have you come back on again.
I think it'd be fun to get him on with the boys too, and everybody get some brews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week.
I didn't.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
I was gonna say I tweeted about it like 2 minutes beforehand. So next time I'll try to plan that better, get some more people paying attention to it. But
no, it's cool. You tweet the link out, people can rewatch it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
This was a good episode though. Guys, next week we have our largest guest to date, Crypto Michael NL. I know he's bullish on a lot of altcoins right now. I want to pick his brain on that. He's from Amsterdam. So the only thing is that we usually do these always on Sundays and typically at like 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but he is in Amsterdam, so we're going to have to do this, I believe, at 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be on the look for that. It'll be a little bit of a different time zone than normal, but it's going to be a good one. So awesome. Bishop, anything?
Yeah, I'll leave us with a couple pieces of bullish future sentiment. There is about 250 trillion of global debt that could be blockchain. And then real estate's another 200 trillion. So just get those gears turning.
It really makes you realize how small our crypto world is right now.
We are in the early 90s of the internet, gents.
Oh, we might be in the 80s.
True.
Shit. I mean, if what you just said is, you said 200 trillion?
200, and these are figures that I just Googled, so I don't want to put too much weight behind them, but it seems like I'll call it 200 trillion in real estate, and then 225 to 250 of global debt. Not including the stock market at 75 trillion, not including gold, as Brad touched on, at 7.8. I mean, there is so much opportunity. And I just don't think we haven't hit a freaking trillion. I mean, that's all you need to say.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. When you guys see me doing this podcast from Puerto Rico, you'll know that we're in a disgusting bull run and I need to save money on taxes. And that's why I'm in Puerto Rico. So
nice down there.
That's your benchmark for how the market's doing. All right. Awesome. This was good shit. Brad, thank you so much for joining us. Bishop, are you driving out there to Chicago or are you flying?
I think I'll be driving with a couple other Crypto Fam people.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Well, all right, guys. Have a good week. And Brad, thanks for coming on and travel safe, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
One love.
One love.